Hey everybody, welcome to the channel. Good to have you along. Today we're going to do a little head-to-head between two of the leading contenders for best drivers of 2021, potentially. There's so many good drivers around this year, it's going to be a struggle really to choose which one. But the two I'm going to put head-to-head today are the TaylorMade Sim 2. This is the low spinning head, or the lowest spinning head of the three, up against the Cobra RadSpeed, which again is the low spinning version. To make the test as fair as possible, I've got exactly the same shafts in both. I've got the Rogue Silver in stiff, which is a 63 gram shaft, in identical, and identical for length at 45 3/4. I've got the loft set to exactly the same at 10.5. And what we're going to do is pick a hole, and I think we're going to hit something like 6 shots of each, leave all the shots in, not cherry pick the good and the bad, and kind of see if there's much between them. My gut feeling would be they're going to be pretty similar, but until we do these sort of tests, we're not exactly sure, are we? A lot's going to depend on strike. I've got to try and, be fair with the test and try and get similar sort of strikes so that we don't get massive drop-offs in numbers and dispersions. But we'll do our best, so stay tuned. Head to head coming up. Okay everybody, we're going to go with the TaylorMade Sim 2 first. Remember, this is the low spinning head. Have a quick look at this video coming up. Gives you a good view of what the club looks like from the bottom and the side and all the rest of it. It's a good looking club. They're both good looking clubs. It's not going to be for everybody. Some people think that the Cobra and the TaylorMade look a little bit busy, but that's all subjective and personal, isn't it? Remember, we've got exactly the same spec in both. I'm going to hit about 4 shots with each. I'm not going to fudge it. I'm just going to hit the 4 shots as they come. There might be a little mix up of stuff here, but let's just see what we get. So Pro V1 balls down on the deck. That's all right. I'd take that off the first tee any day. Little slightly cutty fade, but not going to be the longest drive in the world. But it's hitting fairway. It's out there about 250. Poor strike at the heel, but it's in play. Much better strike than the first one. Just shows you, I bang on about this in a lot of my videos, don't I? Bang on about lots of things, but strike location, where you hit the ball on the club face, has such a massive effect on how a driver is going to perform. As soon as you start hitting it a bit low heel or high toe, the numbers go all over the shot. Spin rates and side spins and all the rest of it. So, sorry, I'm just waiting for my GC2 to try and locate the golf ball. I'll have to just give it a little kick in a minute. Bear with me. Here we go. Always works. Gentle little prod with my size 10. Okay, third shot. Ooh, again, that wasn't bad. Wasn't a great strike. Slightly heely and low, but performs well. This is not a difficult driver to hit. In the TaylorMade range, you've got the Sim 2 low spinning type head. You've got the Max, which is the more forgiving, and then you've got the Draw. But I hit a lot of shots with this in testing, and it's a friendly driver, so much more friendly than some of the older TaylorMade like M1s and SLDRs and that type. Right, I think there are 4 shots in there, which will give us a fair bit of comparison. Felt good. We won't look at the numbers just yet. Let me get the Cobra lined up and then we'll be right back. Right, RadSpeed time. Have a quick look at this video from above. I do like the matte finish on this. The other 2 drivers come in a glossy black finish, but this matte finish looks really good. Very stealthy. We've got this Rad comes from radial weighting. If you wonder why they come up with these names, that's where RadSpeed comes from. Again, I've done a full video on this. Carbon thin ply wrap, all sorts of things going on, milled faces. Same length as the TaylorMade, same shaft, same loft. So about as fair as I can make a test. I think the tracker on this will be red, I think. So tell you a little bit more about the looks of this driver as I hit it. That felt a little bit toey, but again, I found the fairway, running well, out there into the mid 270s. Ooh, nearly, blimey, did very well that. For a ball that pitched at 232, that was a toe strike, I think, with very low sort of top spinny backspin on it. Well, that was a good, ooh, that's interesting. As soon as I hit that, I said that's a good strike, but it didn't launch. And again, interesting stuff here. It's got movable weights on this one, and I've got the 12-gram weight forward, which is going to lower the flight of the shot. So I'm going to have to really try and hit up into this a little bit more to get this launched. A bit like that. So I've got to deliver a little bit more on the upswing with this driver, with the weight forward to get this launching. Done well. Again, not a difficult driver to hit. Don't think that these low spinning heads are that difficult, because I wouldn't say they're any more difficult than the other heads, to be honest. So again, got to try and hit up. Yep, okay. A little bit cutty, similar to sort of one of the TaylorMades, but hanging on to the edge of the fairway, and quite interesting. Right, what are we going to do next? We are going to do a little comparison for you. So let's go with TaylorMade first of all. Let's look at ball speeds, club speed. What was really interesting is how I'm very pleased that I've been able to keep my club speed very, very similar. Let me just bring this camera in a little bit closer. One sec. Okay, how's that? Better? I always get told off by people in the comments, but I can't see your numbers, so hopefully you can see these numbers better. TaylorMade, I got a 104 ball speed. Club speed with the TaylorMade, and I got a 103 with the Cobra. Nothing in that. We go to ball speed. The highest ball speed I created with the TaylorMade was a 148. And the highest I got with the Cobra was 145. So if we look at the average with the TaylorMade, I got a 145 ball speed with the TaylorMade, 145.4 if you want to be exact, and I got 143. So I got 2 miles an hour extra club speed with the TaylorMade. It's a little bit more, isn't it? But not a lot. And again, that could come down to strike and all sorts of stuff. Go to launch angles. Again, these changes in launch angle are down to my inconsistent strike, not finding the middle of the club. Average 10.3 with the TaylorMade and 11.4 with the Cobra. On to the more interesting numbers. Carry distance. Longest carry with TaylorMade was 240, and longest carry with Cobra was 243. 232 average, 233 average. Total predicted, this is where it gets a little bit more interesting. Now, I should have gone to spin rate before that, because there's a massive difference here in spin rate between these two clubs. Absolutely huge. Average backspin rate with the TaylorMade was 3,120. Average spin with the Cobra was 1,927. Now, admittedly, the first 2 shots I hit with the Cobra were a little bit toey. I hit down into them a little bit and they nosedived. But the second 2 strikes were absolutely fine. Okay, these 2 were good strikes. I was hitting up a little bit more. So there's no doubt that the Cobra in that little head-to-head with this Rogue silver shafting was a lower spinning. So although the carry distance didn't change, the run-out distances, dependent on ground conditions, did. Predicted run-out with the TaylorMade was 262, and predicted run-out with the Cobra was 275. This is offline. We should never just base a driver on how far it goes. were interested, I'm trying to hit more fairways. If I can squeeze a bit more yardage out and still hit fairways, great. So average offline, so I went 18, I used 20-yard rules. Anything that's 20 yards right or left of center, it's a fairway hit for me. 18 right with the TaylorMade, 11 right, 12 left, 12 right, giving me an average of 7 to the right. With the Cobra, a little bit more dispersion there. I went 27 yards left, toe strike, nose diver, 29 yards left, and then I went 15 right, 25 right. Average there was 4 left. So I felt more control in that little snapshot with the TaylorMade than I did with the Cobra. But again, I could do this test again and probably get a whole different set of results. How would I sum that up? Which one of these two drivers do I prefer? I wouldn't choose one over the other, to be honest. I'd be very happy to use either of these clubs. It just goes to show that the shaft, the loft, the way you set the driver up is so important. And if you're going to go and invest in one of these drivers, folks, please, please, please don't go and buy it off the shelf. Don't buy it online blindly. Go and get a fitting. Find your local PGA Pro or trusted fitting center and go and hit some clubs. Get on a launch monitor, get on a GC2, get on a flight scope, get on a TrackMan. Play with some different shafts. Ask the fitter questions. Ask them why. Why would this shaft be better? Why would this loft be better? Talk about length, all sorts of stuff. But I think if you spend, not cheap, Cobra, what's this selling for in the UK? 369, I believe, that the Cobra is at the moment. And the TaylorMade is 399. So there's only 30 quid difference between the two. So fairly similar. Both good drivers. That test showed a few things, but again, I've said this many times about doing head-to-head tests. The only fair way you can do that is really put it in the hands of a tour pro or a very elite golfer who can replicate a swing time after time. And even the top players in the world can't replicate maybe 10 swings. You need to put it on a robot testing, like Ping Man, so you can get exactly the same launch condition, strike location, or else otherwise it's got to be open to debate. Anyway, it was a little bit of fun. Could I pick one of these two drivers? No, and I'm not sitting on the fence here. I'd be more than happy to game either of these two clubs. They're both very good drivers, and I think coming out of 2021, both these drivers will be right up there in the top 5 for sure. Maybe into the top 3. Thanks for watching. Post your comments down below. If you're new to the channel, click on that subscribe button, and while you're around there, give the video a thumbs up if you don't mind. Thanks again. Bye for now.